All right, welcome back. We're going to do some more basic part creation today. But today I want to introduce you guys to a concept called technical drawings and something that we're going to refer to as multi-view drawings. So we're going to start with this shape right here. So this is going to be basic part number 7 or BP7. And you can see this one is a pretty simple design. So generally, when we create this, what I will do is when I want you to create a part, in the future, I'm going to give you what is called a technical drawing or a multi-view drawing. And it's going to look like this. And there's some things on here that I want you to see. We basically get to see our part from several different views. So up here, obviously, this is called an isometric view. Isometric means that we can see the top of the part, the front of the part, and the side of the part. So we can see three different faces at once. That's what isometric means. Okay. So in a multi-view drawing, you give me an isometric shape, but then you also give me different views of the shape. Now, sometimes you'll give me 3 views. Sometimes you may only give me 2. And the reason is because we don't need to have 2 views that give us the same information. For instance, if I move this around just a little bit to get it out of the way, and you look, this is my front view. Okay, so it's the front face, this side over here, and you can see that that's the face. This is what is called a top view. So if you were to spin this around, let me grab this. If we spin this around and we look at it from the top, this is the view that we get. You can see you have the full rectangle, and then it's got the line in the center showing that you've got that angle right there. Okay, so if we wanted to do a third view on here, we could do a we could do what is called a front view. So over here it would be a front view, and so we could come over here and we could click and drop this one, and it would give us a front view. But the thing is that this view doesn't really give us anything that these other 2 views don't already tell us. For instance, up here, it gives me the width. I can see that this is 0.5 inches wide, so I don't need to know that. I know that it's 1 inch tall, okay? So I've got that here as well. And I already know that the distance from this line to this line is 0.25. So there's no reason for me to include this because I don't want to duplicate my units. I don't want to add stuff that doesn't need to be in there. Okay, redundancy is a good thing when you're working with like computer programs and different things like that. But when it comes to technical drawings, the we want to give the person making the part in CAD, we want to give them exactly what they need, no more, no less. Okay, so we don't need to, we don't want to overload them. So down here, you're going to notice that, and you guys will have one of these as well. I haven't given you the template yet, but it's basically, this gives you all the information about your drawing. Okay, so it's going to tell us who designed it, when they made the design. Okay, it's going to tell us the name of the drawing. All right, so this is drawing basic part number 7. Part is basic part 7. Scale 2:1. Sheet size A, you don't need to know any of that. And then this is 1 of 1 sheets. Okay, so scale 2:1. What does that mean? Well, a 1:1 would mean that this would be 1 inch tall. Okay, in reality, this is 2 inches tall. If you were to print this out, you would find that this is 2 inches tall. This one is actually, instead of half an inch, it's 1 inch. Okay, so the scale is 2:1. Okay, if it was 1:2, then if this was a 1 inch scale, it would actually, or if this was a 1 inch side, on a 1:2 scale, this would be cut in half. Okay, so this would be half an inch printed, and this would be a 1/4 inch if it was printed. Okay, so just a little bit to tell you about dimension drawings and multi-view drawings. And you guys will be creating these in the future because you got to learn to do this so that you can so that you can read them and create them for the parts that you're going to build. So let's go ahead and build this part. And I'm going to use this multi-view drawing to help me to determine everything that I need to know over here. Okay, so I'm going to start. This is my front view. So that's what I'm going to focus on. That's what I'm going to draw first. So I'm going to come over here to my empty part studio. I'm going to click on the front of my view cube to rotate it around. Click on my front face, and then I am going to hit Shift S. That's going to launch my sketch plane, and then I'm going to hide my top, front, and right work planes. All right, and now I am ready to start drawing. So go back to my drawing, and I look, and I'm basically going to trace this outline. Okay, and then I'll come back and add my dimensions separately. So I'm going to get this image in my mind, and then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to grab my line tool. That's the letter L on your keyboard, or you can select it up here. And we're going to start making the outline. So I'm going to start at my origin point. I'm going to go up, then I'm going to go over, then I'm going to go down at an angle. I'm going to come down straight vertically until I get that yellow dashed line telling me that I'm even with my origin point. And then I'm going to slide back over to my origin point, click, and now I have a shaded box. And then I'm going to hit escape, or I can hit the L key again to release my tool. All right, so now I'm ready to start dimensioning. Okay, and this is where our technical drawing is going to come in really handy. Okay, so looking at my technical drawing, I know that the length of this side is 1 inch, and the length of this side over here is 1/4 inch. So I'll come back over here, I'll grab my dimension tool, which is the letter D on my keyboard, or I can slide up here and select a tool. Now, in the instance, let me show you guys something. In the instance that you're looking for a tool and it does not appear in this toolbox or this toolbar, depending on if you're using your Chromebook versus your desktop, you have a little more screen size with the desktop, so you're going to have a longer toolbar. Okay, but if you're looking for a tool that doesn't show up here, you can click on this search tool and you can just start typing it in, dimension. Okay, so DIM, it automatically pulls it up. It tells me, hey, the keyboard shortcut is D, and if it wasn't there already, then it would show up. Okay, so just keep in mind that this can help you, and also yeah, we'll leave it at that. I don't want to confuse you guys anymore. All right, so left side over here, click on that, slide out to the left, and I'm going to tell it that is 1 inch tall. It's going to shrink my part, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit. All right, so that's 1 inch, and I know that this side over here is 1/4 inch, so 0.25. Then I'm going to go back to my technical drawing, and I'm going to look, and I'm going to see that the bottom is 1.5 inches wide, and the top is 0.75. Okay, so I'll come down here, dimension tool, 1.5, and 0.75. All right, and we are done with the outline of our shape. So I'm going to click the corner of my view cube to kind of throw it into a little bit of an isometric. I'm going to hit Shift E to go ahead and extrude my shape. And since I was drawing on the front face, I want that to remain the front face. So I'm going to send it backwards. And then now we're going to go back to our technical drawing and say, okay, how thick does this need to be? And that's where this top view comes in. The top view tells me that it is 1/2 inch thick, 0.5. So my extrusion should be 0.5 inches. So 0.5, enter, then I can right click, throw it in isometric, and we are done. We have created basic part number 7. So be sure to come over here, click on your part, rename it over here. Be sure to right click on your tab and rename your tab as well. It should be BP7. So this should be what you end up with, is BP7 as your tab and BP7 as your part number. Okay, that's it for basic part number 7. Come back for basic part number 8.